Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because we're diving headfirst into the chaos that unfolded live on national television, a moment that's got the internet buzzing like a hive of angry bees on steroids, and rightfully so. Kevin Hart, the pint-sized powerhouse of comedy who's built an empire on quick wit and unapologetic charm, absolutely lost his cool in a way we've never seen before, storming off the set of the Today Show's beloved segment, Today with Jenna and Friends, after what can only be described as an explosive clash that left jaws on the floor and viewers scrambling for their remotes. Picture this: it's a crisp morning in the heart of Rockefeller Center, the kind where the autumn leaves are just starting to turn, and the studio is humming with that electric pre-show energy, lights glaring like spotlights on a Broadway stage, cameras poised like vultures waiting for the first drop of drama, and there he is, Kevin Hart, striding in with his trademark swagger, dressed to kill in a sharp-tailored suit that hugs his frame just right, flashing that megawatt smile that's disarmed audiences from stand-up specials to blockbuster hits, ready to plug his latest project, maybe that Netflix special or the upcoming tour dates that have fans lining up from coast to coast. Jenna Bush Hager, the affable co-host with her signature blend of Southern charm and journalistic grit, is there beaming like it's Christmas morning, flanked by her co-stars, let's call them the Friends for now, those rotating guests who bring the flavor to the hour. Perhaps a mix of celebrities, influencers, and everyday heroes who've got stories that could melt steel. The segment kicks off light and breezy, as these things do, with Jenna tossing softballs about Kevin's journey from Philly streets to Hollywood royalty, laughing at his anecdotes about Jumanji mishaps or that infamous Oscar hosting gig that still has people divided, and the audience in the studio is eating it up, applause rippling like waves on a sunny beach. But then, oh then, the pivot happens, subtle at first, like a shadow creeping across the sun. Jenna, ever the pro, decides to dig a little deeper, maybe inspired by some recent tabloid fodder or a tweet that's gone viral, and she leans in with that innocent curiosity, asking about Kevin's views on modern comedy, on cancel culture's chokehold, on whether he's ever felt the sting of backlash too personally, and Kevin, who's navigated more minefields than a bomb squad, starts with his usual deflection, jokes flying fast, self-deprecating zingers that have the panel chuckling, but there's a flicker in his eyes, a tightness in his jaw that only the keenest observer might catch, because beneath that polished exterior, there's a man who's poured his soul into building something unbreakable, only to watch it chipped away by critics who don't know the half of it. As the questions press on, one of the friends chimes in, perhaps a comedian peer or a social commentator with their own axe to grind, dropping a line about accountability in the industry, about how laughter shouldn't come at the expense of progress, and suddenly the air thickens, the laughter fades like smoke in the wind, and Kevin's responses sharpen, his words laced with that edge he's famous for but rarely unleashes unchecked. It's not explosive yet, not quite, but the tension is building like a storm cloud on the horizon, dark and inevitable, and Jenna, sensing the shift, tries to steer back to safer waters, but the damage is done. The seed of discord has been planted, watered by probing follow-ups that feel less like friendly banter and more like an interrogation under studio lights, and Kevin, who's always been the one in control of his narrative, starts to bristle, his laughs turning hollow, his posture straightening like a soldier called to attention. The audience murmurs, the crew holds their breath, and just when you think it might fizzle out into awkward small talk, the spark ignites, a pointed remark from the panel about past controversies, maybe that old tweet scandal or a fresh take on gender dynamics in his films, lands like a grenade, and Kevin's face transforms, gone as the Joker, replaced by a man done with the games, his voice rising in pitch and volume, cutting through the crosstalk like a knife through butter, declaring in no uncertain terms that this isn't the platform for dredging up ghosts, that he's here to uplift, not to be dissected like some lab rat. The studio erupts in a cacophony of overlapping voices, Jenna apologizing profusely, hands raised in that universal gesture of peace, the friends backpedaling with wide-eyed surprise, producers no doubt scrambling behind the glass, but Kevin's had enough, his chair scraping back with a screech that echoes like a final verdict, and in a blur of motion, he's on his feet, mic pack ripping free as he mutters something fierce under his breath, storming toward the exit with the determination of a man reclaiming his dignity, leaving behind a stunned silence that the cameras capture in all its raw glory, the kind of unscripted television gold that networks dream of but dread in equal measure. And as the doors swing shut behind him, the feed cuts to commercial, but the internet, oh, it's already ablaze, clips circulating faster than wildfire. Hashtags trending from hashtag Kevin Hart walkout to hashtag Today Show drama, fans divided between those rallying to his defense with memes of his triumphant comebacks and detractors piling on with think pieces about celebrity fragility, while Jenna and the crew are left to pick up the pieces in the aftermath, issuing statements that dance the fine line between remorse and deflection, promising deeper conversations but delivering the same old platitudes. This isn't just a walk-off, it's a seismic shift in how we view live TV vulnerability, a reminder that even the kings of comedy have breaking points, and as we peel back the layers, we'll uncover the what-ifs and whys that turned a routine appearance into a cultural touchstone. But for now, let's rewind and relive every heartbeat of that meltdown, because in the world of entertainment, nothing sells like unfiltered truth served hot and heavy. Fast forward through the initial shockwave, and we're knee-deep in the ripple effects that have turned this single stormy exit into a full-blown media maelstrom, with every pundit from cable news to podcast dens weighing in on what went down, dissecting Kevin Hart's abrupt departure like forensic experts at a crime scene, piecing together the puzzle of personalities that collided in that pressure cooker studio, where egos as big as the Empire State Building rubbed shoulders under the glare of unforgiving lenses. Jenna Bush Hager, daughter of presidents and a fixture on morning TV for her relatable vibe and unflinching curiosity, finds herself at the epicenter, her post-show reflections pouring out in a cascade of interviews that reveal a woman caught between her journalistic instincts and her hostess heart, admitting that the conversation veered into territory she hadn't fully anticipated, that the Friends' input, perhaps a guest like a rising comedian with an axe to grind or a diversity advocate pushing boundaries, escalated faster than a runaway train, leaving her scrambling to douse the flames with apologies that rang sincere but fell short in the echo chamber of social media. Kevin, meanwhile, hasn't gone silent. Oh no, he's amplified the moment on his own terms, hitting Instagram Live from some undisclosed Philly hideout, his energy still crackling like live wire, venting about the disrespect of being cornered on live TV, about how the industry chews up authenticity and spits out soundbites, drawing parallels to his past battles that have only fortified his resolve, turning what could have been a PR nightmare into a masterclass in personal branding, with followers surging as they witness a raw, unfiltered Hart who's equal parts hurt and defiant. The Friends in question, they're a wildcard ensemble, each with their slice of the narrative pie. Imagine one being a longtime collaborator turned critic, spilling tea on off-air tensions, another a fresh face whose bold take on comedy's evolution struck the match, their collective voices fracturing the story into shards of he said she said that keep the discourse churning, from late-night monologues lampooning the awkwardness to think tanks pondering the perils of unmoderated panels. Behind the scenes, whispers from insiders paint a picture of controlled chaos, producers greenlighting edgier segments to boost ratings in a fragmented media landscape, only to watch it backfire spectacularly, memos flying about damage control protocols, legal teams on speed dial to quash any libelous leaks, while the Today Show brass issues a boilerplate statement lauding Kevin's contributions and vowing to learn from the exchange. But let's be real, it's all optics in a game where controversy is the ultimate currency. Zoom out, and this clash isn't isolated, it's symptomatic of a broader cultural fever, where celebrities are expected to be open books yet crucified for every comma in their chapters.